stewardships since 2017, and you just wanted to say a few words. So it's your time, Congressman.
Well, thank you, Nancy. I am so honored to do this. As you can tell, I'm still at the Capitol. We're trying to get some stimulus done, but I have so much admiration for Reed. I've known her for years. Her passion, her enthusiasm is infectious. I mean, when she walks into a room, everyone knows this. She just brings unbridled passion, commitment to her role. She's served almost for 9 years. Her work with Project Cornerstone is something that is so impressive that people talk about, not just in Sunnyvale. She's respected throughout the county. And of course, she was the president of the board of the County School Board Association. And so her influence has gone well beyond Sunnyvale to the entire region. She's someone whose expertise on education is trusted, not just by me, but by so many leaders in our school district. And at a time where nothing is more important than the education we're giving our kids for the 21st century, Reed's really a role model. So I want to add my congratulations, and I know your public service is going to continue in so many ways. We're not going to let you just go away, and I'm so proud to be a friend. Thank you for everything.
Ro, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here, and congratulations on Biden. Thank the Lord. So
thank the country.
Thank the country. Your job's a lot easier. Well, it's gonna be hard, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Khanna. And he's actually going to stay for a few minutes, and in just a few minutes, he will administer the oaths. So Reed, if you just want to take a couple of minutes real quick to kind of say your final thoughts, and then if there was something more that you wanted to do related to what you dropped off, let's maybe do that after the swearing in.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, I just want to say, you guys, this was just incredible. Like, thank you all so much. Thanks to all my friends and some of our school principals and school people that came and spent the time tonight. And thank you to the board and Jesus and Mike, who coordinated this. Mike, before we started, said that this was the most complicated board meeting that he's ever seen. Trying to get it all together. I appreciate you all so much. And it's just, you guys are all so wonderful. And I'm going to join the ranks of Annalee and Ben, and we're going to party together, and we're going to remember you. And maybe we'll sometimes like sit in on some board meetings and laugh and be happy that we're not there. I don't know. I hope so. But you guys are going to do such a great job. And I've said this to the board, and I'm just going to say it one more time. Like, it was hard to make the decision to leave, and I did make it before the pandemic, but you guys are in such a good position. Like, you guys are so awesome, and Mike is doing such an incredible job. We could not have picked a better leader at this time. And I just feel, I'm sad that I'm gone, but I know that you guys are going to be awesome. And I feel good. Like, I really do feel good. Isabel, welcome. I'm excited for your being on the board. And I just, I feel like you guys are in a great place. So thank you so much. I loved my time. And I just appreciate all of your appreciation. Like, it's insane. Like, it's crazy. But thank you so much. I love you guys.
Thank you, Reed. Hopefully this wasn't too embarrassing for you, but we wanted you to know how much we value and appreciate, and we'll miss you. Okay, we are now moving on to item 3B, administering the oath of office to the new and re-elected board members. So I will now turn the time over back to Representative Khanna for administering the oath.
Terrific. Well, I am excited to do this. First, Isabel Jubes Flammerish. I'm told that Isabel is an educator, a community volunteer, a green building professional, so important in our clean energy future. She's committed to being a voice of diversity, a great listener, an advocate for equity and fairness, all values that I think are so important. Given that, I'm excited to swear you in. And now it's my honor to administer the oath of office. Please repeat after me.
Yes.
I, Isabel Jubes Flammerish, I'm sorry for the mispronunciation, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward, Isabel, to working with you. Thank you, and what a great achievement.
Thank you.
Now, I'm honored to give the oath to Nancy Newkirk, who will be starting her 6th term on the board. Wow, you must be doing something right, 6 terms. You'll have to give me the secret to how you've maintained such a great track record. You have a long list of achievements, Nancy, from early childhood education, which is one of my passions, to teaching at the college level, from the local level to state advisory committees, and numerous advocacy roles on behalf of education for our children. It's now my honor to swear in Nancy Newkirk. Please repeat after me. I, Nancy Newkirk,
Nancy Kirk,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations, Nancy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this very, very much.
Well,
It's a great
honor. We were lucky to have you there. So congratulations to both of you, and thank you for letting me be part of this ceremony, and congratulations again to my good friend Reed.
Thank you so much, Representative Khanna, for being here tonight, and thank you also for all of your service. We appreciate you. I mean, we know if you're out in DC, it's a late night for you. So
Thank you. Well, I hope we get McConnell does something. It's ridiculous with the stimulus checks, but that's a discussion for another day. Thank you.
best
All
of
right.
luck. Thank you. Have a good night.
Take care. Thank you.
Okay, we will do a little bit of a jump back. I think, Reed, I feel funny like giving you more time for this, but go ahead.
This is my favorite part. So we're just going to jump in then?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to acknowledge Michelle's past year of being our president. Michelle's been on the board for a few years. It probably feels like an eternity, but she has learned so much and done so much and taken on this leadership role. And it's been so impressive. And I have to say that she took on this leadership role as board president with this pandemic and had to learn how to run Zoom meetings, had to just flip everything. And honestly, I just don't know if any of us could have done what she did. I really don't. I was so thankful. And I was the vice president, and every single meeting I prayed, like when she would get on, like right before the meeting started, please show up, please show up, please show up. I do not want to deal with this. So, and thank God, thank you for showing up to every meeting, Michelle. I appreciate that. So we have a few gifts for you. And do you have them in front of you?
I do have them right here next
Okay, so
to
I'm
me.
gonna make you open them. So first, there's the manila card in there. So just read, that's a poem, so read that.
You want me to read it out loud?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle. You've learned so much in a few short years. You've done a lot and shed many tears. You led us this year with grace and calm, answering countless emails and leading Zoom. You're the bomb. We have a few gifts to acknowledge your work and the fact that you're here and haven't yet gone berserk. So grab number one, that's the first of the day. This one is to say thank you for lighting our way. The second is small, but we wanted to show your leadership in this digital world has helped us all grow. The third is a shirt that might, well, start a fad. We all know for sure you are a Zoom University grad. So thank you for leading us through this year that's so rough. You make it look easy. We know it is tough. So cute.
So I made the gifts really easy to open, so it won't take you long.
Okay.
And you can't open the whole box, but it'll say what it is on the outside.
This is a ring light for Zoom.
Okay, so look at me, Michelle. Look, this is before, this is after.
Awesome. Thank you. So it's one of those like lights to put right next to it. So cool. Thank you. All right, number two.
Focus on.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. Trying to pull it out. It says, thank you for helping us grow. Love it. Thank
This is
you.
from the whole board, by the way.
And then number three. Zoom University 2020. Very funny. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I feel bad being celebrated tonight though. This is Reed's night.
Oh, you deserve it, girl. This has been the hardest year and you've done such a good job. So thank you so much. for-
Hopefully your daughter gave you the other part of that too.
She had a reminder. She had a reminder on her phone, but my guess is the kids are watching movies since John has his city council meeting. So my guess is she's in the middle of watching her thing. Oh, maybe she's coming in right now. Oh, she said she was waiting for the right cue. Thank you. Oh, and they smell so good. Love it. Thank you so much. McKay was telling me that she was hiding a dead fish in her closet. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. But let's finish on celebrating Reed. We just appreciate you, Reed, so much. And it was so wonderful to hear everyone's words. And thank you everyone for coming tonight. I think it really shows how much Reed really has done for our community with the amount of people who have come to want to, send her off with good wishes. So thank you so much, Reed. We are going to take a 5-minute recess. So then we will come back 7:20 to proceed with the rest of our meeting. And I assume, Reed, this is goodbye.
This is it. This is my last board meeting ever. Thank you so much. I didn't miss any. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, you guys. I'm going to miss you.
We love you. Hey, what if we all smile and we do a quick screenshot? Does someone know how to do that on their device?
Yeah.
Who could do it?
You can do it.
Okay, Bridget's gonna do it. Okay, everybody smile.
Make sure you're in it, Bridget.
Okay.
You got it?
Got it.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, bye, you guys. Thanks for coming out. But thanks for coming, all my friends. Congratulations.
Reed. We love you.
Bye, Lainey.
Love you.
Love you guys.
I'll send that out. Mike,
got
I
this
don't have
on.
I don't have Ben and Aaliyah's personal email. I have their text. Could you, if I send it, will you send it to them?
Oh, send it to me?
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
I'm gonna send it to all of us, but I've got to
Okay.
text them and get it and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna send it right now.
Okay.
We pulled it off.
That was really nice. Very nice. And I've got that song in my head now.
Mhm.
Yeah. Isabel, you're official.
Well, yes. When
Yes, now
it's
I can talk in the.
Yeah. Welcome. It's like a long wait, right? From deciding you want to do it to this moment. It's a long time.
too big to open
All
up the
right.
phone.
Fun celebrations. It feels weird after having a huge screen with lots of people to have a small screen looks a little different. All right, I reconvene. Do I need to give a time right now, Jesus, or no? I'm a little thrown off. But reconvene this meeting. And we have all board members with welcome to Isabel. We're so glad to have you here and are excited for this new journey.
Thanks. I am very excited too.
And thank you, Nancy, for coordinating it to have Representative Khanna join us. That was right fun for Reed, but then a fun way for you guys to be administered the oath. So that was great. Thank you.
Yes, I'm glad the magic worked.
Yeah, it was a little bit for a few minutes when he wasn't showing up. I mean, it worked out great. It actually timing worked out perfectly because then everyone got to speak who wanted to. But it was a little bit. My head was like twirling, like, okay, like if he doesn't show up, then we'll just all kind of speak over here and navigate. Like Mike or Jesus will then administer the oath, right? I was like in my head figuring out,
Yes,
right,
yeah.
what would need to happen. So it actually all worked out perfectly, so everyone could share stuff.
Yes.
And so great that your families were able to join on for both of you guys. That was wonderful. I tried to do a couple with my phone. I don't know how well it turned out, but I tried to take a couple pictures with my phone, but I don't know how well it turned out. So I will send those to you if it turned out. Okay, we are now, let me just like gather my stuff here. I still have like a pile of my wrapping, so I unwrapped it fast on the side here. Oh, and I called during the break, I called Reed just real quickly, and she just wanted to say thank you again for everything. She was in the middle of opening up her like goodie basket of stuff, and she just is very appreciative to everybody. Okay, we are now on to item 3C, the annual election of board officers and committee representatives. Sorry, should have had my notes gathered a little better here.
So I would like to make a motion that we discuss that we discuss the offices, and then we vote on, rather than taking everyone individually, that we vote as a whole with a slate of officers.
With the whole slate, yeah.
With the whole slate.
That sounds great. Does that work for everybody else? Okay. All right, so just as a reminder, let me pull it back up. So we have the ones that we already have figured out is representative to the Santa Clara County School Board Association. That is Nancy, Nancy with Bridget as the alternate, correct?
Yes.
Is what we've decided, and we're all good with that, right? Okay, and then the next one is representative to the Santa Clara County Committee on School District Organization, and that is Jeff. Everyone's good with that, yeah? And then the next one is the liaison to the District Wellness Committee and alternate. And I actually don't remember what we had decided on that one.
That was Isabel. And
Okay.
then I would be the alternate.
And you're the alternate. Okay. I was thinking it was the two of you, and I just couldn't remember like how that had worked exactly. Everyone's good with that, yeah? Okay. And then the liaison to the district's Facilities and Finance Committee. And I believe that was me and Isabel, correct? Okay. And that is all the other positions. So it's just the board position. So president, vice president, and clerk. And I can share my thoughts first unless someone else wants to share.
That sounds wonderful, because we kind of had the conversation about your thoughts kind of was truncated, and I just wanted to have an opportunity to have that expanded.
Yeah. So I just, as I was reflecting it from our discussion, last time about the different roles, and as I thought about it kind of a little bit more, I wrote down kind of like some of like my key thoughts about like why I would really like to be board president this next year. And so I just kind of wanted to go through those quickly. So the first one is just the idea of the continuity moving forward, kind of while we're still in the pandemic and the transition with the new superintendent. I'd love to kind of roll over and continue with that. The other one, which is kind of was a thought that was from something that Jeff had kind of said, but the idea of continuing to build my leadership capacity while Jeff and Nancy are both on the board to kind of offer support and guidance. And I've like this year, like I've reached out to Nancy for a few things. She's reached out to me. So right, kind of continuing that with those who've been on for a while, gaining that support as I continue working on my leadership. And then also I would love to lead us in organizing and helping facilitate, development of our new governance team with a new board member. And then we still, right, Mike's not brand new, but it's new. And then just there's a handful of things after I had gone to the president workshop a year ago, December, coming into January, there was a handful of things that I kind of wanted to work on and do during the year, and they all got sidelined because of COVID. So those are kind of my thoughts of why I would like to continue as president.
Could you tell me a little bit more about the things that at the end of every presidency, there's always the things left undone. Can you tell me more about what it is that you want to do? What's your vision for the things that you want to bring forward to the board in that those leadership things that you had alluded to?
So the smaller things, I mean, I don't remember all of them because I literally just had like a to-do list of like things I wanted to do. So I'd have to go back and look at them. I mean, one of them was one of the ones that Jeff had talked about is I had last year gone to an AEC thing about superintendent evaluation. So that's like one of the small pieces of that. There was also some pieces just related to which we talked about at the beginning of last year, the idea of organizing our meetings and the idea, you know, CSBA talks a lot about these conversation meetings, and then you have your board meetings. So kind of as we're like starting, I feel like as we're starting a new governance team with we have a new board member, a new superintendent, and then also I think with Jesus, who brings knowledge from his past areas, right? Kind of figuring out how we want to kind of incorporate those meetings and how we want to bring that forward. So those are some of those kind of smaller, and there were some other ones I'd have to just go look at my notes of the other pieces of that. Is that answering your question, Nancy?
That's answering my question a little bit more. Some of the things that you had wanted to do are not unique to the role of president. Certainly the president takes on, can take on some of those thoughts, but I think we're in a unique, to your point, we are in a unique place right now with the pandemic ongoing. And I want to be able to feel that everyone has an opportunity, and we have the opportunity to benefit from everyone's assets. I'm wondering how we can do this with the Brown Act, about continuing mentoring. There's just a lot of infrastructure that we don't have with regards to doing things in Zoom land and meetings in Zoom land. And then there's always the infrastructure that happens as you, the art of managing the agreement again, as you build a new board. So are those the types of things that you were talking about?
So I'm not fully understanding what you're saying.
So, so board development is something that does not have to be led by the president, but it's a shared, but it can be a shared responsibility in the assets for those kinds of activities. And there's infrastructure that we all need to agree upon as far as you said you wanted to lead it, but I'm mindful that everybody it's the art of managing the agreement. That is something that everybody's participating in.
So the idea, right? The one person's not like, I wouldn't make changes, right? Yeah, yeah, totally. Like but these are things that I would like to bring to the board as part of, right? So I think also as you were talking, made me think about the idea of like, I don't need to lead individual board training, right? But I like the idea of being at the helm of facilitating it, right? And I think, you know, being there, so I'm not the one who's directing all of it, right? We all are taking pieces of it. You know, I think an example is with the equity reflections, right? Like we as a board decided to do that, right? And then, but I'm not the one who's leading them, right? Like I reach out to different individuals, right? Everyone's having a chance to participate and have leadership opportunities. So what are your thoughts, Nancy? Are you still wanting to be president? Are you good with me being president? Where are you at? And then we can maybe kind of ask the other board members where they're at.
So I've done a lot of reflection about this, and I wanted to hear what it felt like the conversation was kind of truncated the last time. And I just wanted to know that there was intentionality and thoughtfulness about moving forward rather than the feeling of, oh, I didn't get a chance to do everything that I wanted to do, so I just wanted to do it more kind of thing? Do you,
Like, what's the reasoning? Yes, that makes sense.
It's the tell me more kind of component of that, and then seeing the added value that it might have, not just in the short term, but the long term. And the only dance I'm concerned about is the mentoring aspects of new board member and continuing dialogues with the superintendent. But that the superintendent evaluation is something that we all share in that process, and whatever tool that we use needs to be agreed upon by Mike. It's by mutual consent. Any thoughts or changes about that?
Yeah, it would be a governance team discussion. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm happy to move forward with shared leadership opportunities. It's all about timing. I have energy, enthusiasm, and time right now to do that. I can't speak to what, and none of us can speak to what the future is, but I'm just saying that for now I can do it. So that's kind of where I'm at on that, and looking long about how things would turn over. So if we have the art of if we put in some more infrastructure, I'm okay with letting you continue to develop and deepen your skill set. I appreciate that there is within the dynamics of the public, change can be disruptive. So I'm okay with supporting your continuation as president if it's within that co-planning, share responsibilities, and shared sets of agreements that we're operating with that we need to build in for this next cycle.
Thank you, Nancy.
But I'd like to hear what other people would have, thoughts about that too.
Jeff?
Yeah, I was actually, I think I made it pretty clear last time I was in the meeting. I was very happy to hear that you're willing to step in the role of president, because I know I'm a big fan of COVID is just so defining in a lot of respects. And I think it's a huge accomplishment in the fact that you were able to help navigate us through this alone. But I know that was sort of a all-consuming process as well. It took up a lot of your time, and I hope you don't see any, lack of ability to work on your own goals as any kind of failure, because I don't think that would even be fair on yourself. I think I'm kind of understanding what Nancy's is saying as well. Is I like the idea that you have goals going forward. I think this year COVID's not going to be over. It's still going to be a part of the conversation. And I think we're in a position right now where we can start looking past it. we start needing to look at where we want to go, what you want to do, what we want to do, and so on. And we're here to support that. You know, I think part of that, you don't have to own as much on that responsibility. You can kind of parcel it out, you know, with any kind of board development meetings. You can ask some of us to take lead on it and so on. I mean, we're here for you. But
No, I'm all about delegation.
yeah, no, it's good. It's good. That is a skill too. You know, I've learned that over the years as well. But like I said, I just would like to see you have the opportunity to follow through on the plans, because you were making so many plans. You had a lot of excitement about it, and I just felt like everything got sidelined. And that's what I think that's quality of good leader as well, as you start planning ahead what's going to happen after we weather the storm. I've seen elements of, from Mike and our staff. They're already looking beyond that. They're trying to look at what is life like after that we get over that wall. And, and I do, like I said, I just want to stress the fact that, we have Isabel, brand new board member, Bridget's right behind that. And then I'm not
that far behind that either, right? I'm still
I know. I was about to say it. I was kind of stalling a little bit. I want to make sure it wasn't going to come out wrong or anything. But what I was about to say too is that between you and Bridget, you both have hit the ground running quite a bit, and same things that I admired about Reed with the passion and the energy and enthusiasm. I think that's kind of brought in a whole new character. And I think all of you embody that character quite a bit. But like I said, I'd like to see all of you develop in that role. I mean, I'm not trying to put pressure on Isabel yet. I want you to, you're going to take it in and learn. But if you're anything like, Bridget and Michelle, you're going to hit the ground running too. And you have a lot of support around you. And I think that also helps. And that's why I want to make sure that you both understand, or all three of you understand, that you don't just have staff behind you to help you, support you. You also have Nancy and myself, and I guess there's a part of me that really wants to see this develop, because in 2 years I'm off. That's getting a part of my career where it's becoming harder to balance. And that's just a fact. I mean, I think for the last 2 terms, I've been really dragging my feet to a point where that part of the oath of the office, I almost choke on it every time without reservations.
Mental reservations, yes. I
Mental
understand.
reservations, yeah, that one. I always kind of stall on it a little bit. But I just, I like the energy, and I like I like what I see from that. But I want to make sure that we're leaving on a good place. So I like to see the experience. I already know with Michelle. I mean, I've seen you in the tough times, and I also really think the fact that you're willing to take it on for a second year in all this, I think that speaks just volumes as well. So. Thank you.
And I very much appreciate, right, the wisdom and perspective that you and Nancy both bring, right? And I reach out to you guys to get your thoughts and your insight. And so, yeah, I very much value and appreciate it. I think having we kind of have like this longevity and then this kind of new crop, right? And be able to blend that together and for us to gain, that wisdom and experience and the governance, right, knowledge that you guys have to continue to carry us forward.
Yeah, we're always a phone call away. I need you all to remember that. You're not, I know you all are very considerate of the fact that I'm busy, but I always make time for you.
Brown Act.
Was that?
She was just saying Brown Act, right? Yeah.
Yes.
But a lot of times, I think and for all of us, but Isabel, a lot of times, right, it might not be so much just like specific topics, but like governance stuff, or just like the, you know, the knowledge of, you know, just the governance knowledge, I guess. I think a lot of that is what you can kind of reach out to, you know, anyone at any time that's not specifically the topics and things that we're discussing.
Well, I think with Reed, using her as an example, there were a few times when, and I don't even think this, I'm not even sure this is a Brown Act violation. There were some times when she'd call in the beginning with a really tough decision that she was just struggling with. And it wasn't even about to talk about issue. It was just about how do you develop, you know, a decision? How do you, you know, like the emotion behind it, or the, what do you do to balance that out? And I think those are real characteristics, or real, you know, lessons you have to learn from the, you know, the forge of experience. And it's tough. She got very emotional about things, and it's just sometimes helpful to have somebody that just can, not trying to influence your decision, just saying basically it's okay to make a decision.
Thanks, Jeff. Bridget, Isabel, do you have thoughts you want to add?
Yeah, I'll say something. You know, Michelle, I think that you're just, you have a lot of poise under pressure. And I know that sometimes, you know, like I think last year when, you know, where there was more about the students and like, you know, hearing student stories and stuff, it was, you know, like you would say, oh, I'm just getting emotional, right? But now here we are in go time. It's like crisis time, and like you're pretty like right on things, you know, and that's like really impressive. Like in a crisis, like you really stepped up, and I think that you know, I feel like you're a really good communicator in terms of thinking about what you say, saying it clearly, and following the framework of rules and still getting your opinion across. So I really appreciate that. And I think there's been so much correspondence with families and with teachers and staff and everybody. And as board president, you know, you have to be able to do that correspondence, and you did it. And so I'm sure you had other people, you know, look at it or whatever before you sent it out, but I really want to commend you for that, because that, I can just imagine how much I got copied on them, and I was exhausted reading all the copies of what you sent out, you know. So it's a big job this year, and I think you did a really good job, and if you're willing to do it again, I think we should. I'm excited about you doing it again. So
Thanks, Bridget. Isabel, you don't have to share thoughts, but if you have something you want to say.
Well, thank you for everybody. Everybody has been very helpful so far, and I know that you're all going to stay being very helpful and informative. And well, I still learning about many things, but what I have seen, Michelle has been doing an amazing job so far. From my very short visit until now that I'm digging in, but yeah, I even think adding all the part about, you know, the Zoom and so many people coming in and out of the meetings, and that also add an extra complication to the ruling the meetings part. I think you've been doing great.
And I just wanted to say too that, like, I really think that we're fortunate as a board. You know, I think of Cupertino 2 years ago when their entire school board was all new, right? It was like 5 of them, and they were a completely new board, and every role was a new role for everybody. And we don't have that here. So I think we're really lucky. And I really do appreciate Nancy and Jeff for that.
Okay, so and I realized I probably should have, we should have added on the other pieces as the discussion previous. Nancy, were you about to say something or no?
Oh, I was going to say, it isn't that I want you to do it again. I want to help you grow to do it better. And you need to let us know. I know you're open to feedback, but if there's something that you're needing to explore or other to grow your capacities, let us know.
Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate
Okay.
that. And yeah,
So how good is good enough? I want you better. I don't, you're not a placekeeper. I want you better.
yeah, to grow the capacity. Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate that.
That's right.
So just as a reminder from last time, what I would love to see would be, so me as president, and then Bridget's been clerk, so then Bridget would move to vice president, and then I love the idea of Nancy coming in as clerk, and then I kind of hoping, things always change, right? You can't make it exactly staying in order, but then we can maybe try to kind of, sorry, my hands, I'm gonna touch my hands, and half the time it's in the screen and half the time it's not. Sorry if that looks weird. But that idea of trying to then kind of move along in that order, right? So then we build that leadership, right, of going clerk. So then, right, so then the next year Bridget would be president, Nancy would move from clerk to vice president, and then if Isabel wants to, like, an opportunity, then Isabel would come in as clerk, right? And so then we would just move up that cycle. Of course, things sometimes have to change or adjust, but I think that would be a helpful, right? Then we all kind of know, like, that's the routine, and then also maybe then at least less discussion, right? This is kind of what we're doing unless something needs to change for some reason. So that would be my recommendation for this year, and then also kind of that idea moving forward. So I don't know if anyone has thoughts, like that idea, don't like that idea.
So we've had plus and minus, there are plus and minuses about that. I think I appreciate the expectation. My experience is that things change, and you need to look at what the dynamics and the needs are at the time. If there's that opportunity for expectation, and it's something that people should want to take on additional leadership and be able to balance that within their other scope of activity. It's not a requirement to take a leadership position on the board. I would hope that people would want to do that, but I don't want to set it up as an expectation, because it's had some downsides in the past of, oh, you're only doing this, you're not stepping up, but yet they're engaged in every other way. So I don't want to have any pressure or negative connotations if people aren't able to step up into a leadership position, that they are not being leaders.
I don't think that's what she's saying. That's not what I heard.
But I think that's
just more of a, it's more, I understand what you're saying, Nancy, but I don't think that that's the intention of it. I think it's just a clear path, like you would, like going through high school or college or something. Like, if, you know, I know that if I'm going to do clerk, like I'd have an opportunity to do vice president. If I do vice president, I have an opportunity to do president, and because it's part of a training, because you're in the
Right.
meetings and whatever. So I think that's
unless
backfilling on the PTA, they do the same thing a lot of times.
But I think unless you say it, I think it's important to say that if things come up, we should be in a safe place where you can say, I'm not ready to progress, and be okay.
It is a good reminder that there's no, like, maybe someone wants to just be clerk and that's fine, or someone wants to be clerk and vice president but doesn't. So I think that is a good reminder, right? That, like, there's the expectation, but the expectation is not because we expect the person to, it's just for kind of like, this is,
well,
right?
It's just a way to take turns if everyone wants to do some more. If everyone wants to do it, then it's a way to be fair about taking turns.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is Michelle had 2 years of being a vice president before she stepped up. And so what I'm saying is that there's a, things aren't set in stone, but there's there's a freedom there to look and see what's the right fit, and it being, you know, individual preference and time span and needs.
Yeah, it sounds like we're kind of on the same page, just saying it with different words a little bit.
And just kind of put it out there. I've seen other organizations where they have that, and I'm not trying to minimize what you're saying, Bridget. I just want to make sure we're clear. I've had other organizations where they do have that take turns mentality, and I don't always agree with it.
It's not really just taking turns. It's more like, you know, it's more. I guess when I've heard about people doing this, right, that it's more about like making sure that role can be filled by someone else the next year, right? So like you have I think sometimes it's like a 2-year thing, but anyway, the whole thing is everyone's qualified and everyone wants to serve, then it is a way to say like, hey, you know, just get in line. But
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying. It's not everybody is up for it, and nobody.
I have no doubt the people on this board right now of their ability to step forward. But we have had some on the board that if I just don't want to have that. I mean, I think it would have to be a bigger conversation. I think it's a well-deserved conversation, but I think it's a necessary one where you say, no, I think you need a little more time. You know, and
Yeah, that's where the flexibility comes in, right? We've learned that really well this year. Right? Always flexibility and adaptability. Isabel, did you want to add anything?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. Okay, so do we all feel good about the positions and voting on it? Yeah? Okay. Sorry, I gotta go back to my agenda. So I think we need a motion, right?
Can I just double check the names before we do the motion?
Yes.
So I have Board President Maginot, Vice President Watson, Clerk, we're going to be new clerk.
Yeah. You said Newkirk, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the slate of officers and committee members as stated.
I will second.
Okay, and then I believe this is a roll call. And I just realized, totally thrown off from the party earlier, we're going to take a quick pause. If there's any public comment on this item, we will take that before we do our roll call. I apologize for being thrown off from our party. So we'll wait just a moment. If anyone would like to speak on this, please use the raise hand feature now. Okay, not seeing any. All right, now let's go to roll call.
Jeff Arnett,
Aye.
Bridget Watson,
Aye.
Isabel,
Aye.
Nancy,
Yes.
Michelle,
Aye.
5 ayes.
All right, and with that, the motion has passed. Okay, we are now on to, so we have review and discussion. We have 2 items. So one is the review and discuss CSBA AEC, and then also the CSBA Delegate Assembly call for nominations and appointments. So I just want to do a quick check-in because I know I talked to some people that we were trying to kind of end at about 8 o'clock. So if we still want to try to end at 8 o'clock, then I would suggest we maybe postpone our CSBA AEC discussion. If people, I need to be off by about 8:15, 8:20 at the latest. So if we want to do a short discussion now, and if there's more stuff, what did you say, Nancy?
I would suggest postponing it because we're not going to. I don't know how short is going to be if we have an open discussion and not have a focused question to make the the conversation circle tighter.
Plus, I want to go back and watch more. I feel like I would like to have this conversation in January after I've watched as many as possible.
Well, and that's what something I was, yeah, normally we don't discuss it in December and we like forget everything. So that's why I wanted to get it on. And then a couple days ago, I was like, wait, we actually like, I'm going to watch a few more. So I was like, you know what, if we're running late that night, we could maybe postpone it. And it feels less weird because we're actually going to have stuff fresh from newer things. Hopefully, like I have a few notes, so I have a few notes I was going to share tonight. Hopefully you do have some notes. So stuff we already had was kind of fresh. Okay, so I think we need to.
If you can forward any of that information, if it's possible, I'd appreciate it. Like, you know, webinars and things like that.
Yeah, so let me, I haven't gone and looked at, so you know. So, Jesus had sent out that Word doc where we could put notes onto it. I don't know. I haven't been on it for a little while. I know before the other board members had not added anything, but maybe I suggest your favorite, like if you have a favorite one that you would recommend for Jeff, like let's not make a list of like 20, but for all of us, right? Like each person, not just for Jeff, but like maybe put on there, like if you're going to watch one, each of us can kind of star like, this is the one that I would watch, that all of us, right? Like if we hadn't seen that one, that we could maybe look at those. Does that sound good?
As an example, I need.
Okay. And then I think we need to, so technically Reed approved tonight's agenda and she's not here anymore. So Jesus, what do we need to do to table this discussion?
So just, all you gotta do is have a motion and a second to table.
Okay.
4A.
Okay. Thank you.
I move that we table the discussion.
I'll second.
All right. Any public comment? And while we're waiting for public comment, does anyone have any comments? We're ready to vote. Okay. Not seeing any public comment. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye, and with that, the motion passes. Okay, we are on to our last item. So the CSBA Delegate Assembly call for nominations and appointments for the 2021-23 term. So I know from our last discussion, Nancy and Bridget, that's something that they're both interested in. So we need to decide as a board what we want to do.
You can nominate both of us, right? I mean, that's what you can nominate. Eventually, you'll have to vote on one. If it's just
Yeah,
on the seat at that time.
So boards can nominate anyone. You're not limited to how many people you can nominate. You can nominate people from other boards as well. So the question then becomes, when the ballot comes back, there are 6 positions and you can vote for 6 positions of whomever is on the ballot. So then the question becomes whether or not we go by history, which indicates that while there's nothing in the rules, there seems to be a unspoken rule that that within our county we don't generally appoint 2 members from the same board, which is very unfortunate. I think it's a closed mindset. It's not a growth mindset, looking at assets of people rather than
Last year,
trying
didn't we vote
to
for you and Reed? Like when it came down to it, we pointed 2 and then we voted for 2.
Well, the nomination, right? So
we nominated 2, but then when it came down to it, we could vote for 6 and we voted for didn't we vote for our 2 board members plus other people? I don't remember. I could look that up.
Yeah. I mean, so
I'm not taking it for granted. I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah. From my perspective, ideally, we would only nominate 1 person from our board because of what Nancy said, like only 1 person per board. ever gets appointed. So that, to me, that's like, would be the ideal. But I think like last time there were two who both really wanted it and neither wanted to like step back. And so we did both. So I kind of think that I feel the same way now. Like it'd be ideal to just nominate one, but if there are two of you who both want to do it and neither wants to step back, then I think we do the same thing that we did last time. I don't know if anyone else feels differently.
Because ultimately we support both of you. I mean, as far as that's what it comes down to. The reality it is, yeah, you're right. There seems to be an unspoken rule that other boards won't cast their votes for both of you from one district. But as far as I'm concerned, I think we'd be putting forward two quality candidates, and I don't want to go on a hard fixed rule of we're only going to put forward one, because it's a win-win situation as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I would put in the motion to nominate Nancy Newkirk and Bridget Watson.
All right, do we have a second?
I second that.
And I'm gonna ask for public comment, but while I'm doing that, board, is there any other discussion about this item?
Like I said, I'm a fan of both of you, so I'm wishing you both good luck. And if there's any campaigning to be done, let it begin.
Well, right. So anyway, right now, I'll have to, I don't know if they changed the rules, but candidates in and of themselves are not supposed to campaign for delegate assembly. But I'll ask Albert about that, because apparently someone didn't follow that rule that I thought was there.
You mean the woman who wrote letters to everybody or something? Yeah.
You're not supposed, the rules
But I
had
think-
been that you're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
And
it's
that's
just
exactly where I was
That's
thinking.
different.
it can
That's
change,
different than talking to people, though, right? I mean, people talk to people,
Yeah.
so.
No, I meant an individual campaigning. That's what I said.
No
Individuals
buttons.
should not.
T-shirts.
All right, is there any further discussion, or are we ready to vote on the motion? Ready to vote? All right,
I appreciate that.
all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Chair votes aye, and with that, the motion passes. Mike, I just realized you and I talked about this last week, future meetings, but then you and I did not touch base after you spoke with Greg. Have you had a chance to talk with Greg Danis about
Yes.
potential dates in January?
Yeah, so he's available in January. He would, to be honest, he would prefer to do it in person, but that's not possible. What his process would be is to send a sort of a questionnaire out to each board member and have each board member respond, kind of like what questions do you have, so he could have some input into how he would organize his thoughts or comments, or what questions he could answer for the board. Really tailor it to you all.
Yeah.
This is for interest-based bargaining. This guy.
Oh no, sorry, I should have set the stage. So this for not the IBB. So the IBB is going to be postponed until that
That's
can be
training. Yeah. Okay.
Well, this is board. Sorry, I should have set the stage better. This is board governance training, and the idea of possibly. Sorry, I thought it was in January, and I'm in December. So right now what we have on the calendar right now is January 7th is a regular meeting, Thursday, January 7th, and then January 21st is a night, like a regular scheduled night, but that's a board development meeting. As Mike and I were kind of discussing. Because we also really want to start moving again with equity, right? But we can't really successfully, I feel like we can't really successfully have a really good governance board development discussion and a really good equity discussion in the same evening. I think those need to be separate. What I would love to see is this time with Greg, maybe the 21st is the equity. And Mike, it hasn't been fleshed out. People can give thoughts with Mike. And then we'll have a board governance development either on another evening or on a Saturday if Greg's available on a Saturday. So kind of wanting to like see people's schedules so we can try to get that on a calendar.
I just want to say, Jeff, thank you for that email you sent out. Did you copy Isabel on that email for the questionnaire?
No, I did not.
Because that was awesome, and those are hard questions, and those are like that is the depth that I think that we need to get to. Like I think we really need to get to.
And I think we're ready to start doing it. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So I'm excited.
So
If that's
my
what we wanted.
preference-
So Isabel, if you remember, Jeff had just mentioned at the end of I think it was towards the end of last meeting, he was just talking about this article and this like questionnaire that he had, kind of dove into, but it's kind of deep and hard. So he sent it to us. So Jeff, were you gonna say something and then you'll forward it to Isabel?
I think, Nancy, do you want to say something?
Yes, my preference is that we need to do governance first before we do equity. We need to have our agreements of how we're going to be managing and governing ourselves and how we're going to be communicating with one another done first before we get into deeper work.
Yes, that's the hope and the plan. Yeah.
But the next time we do the equity discussion, if you want to make that reading a part of it, we can.
So Mike, do you want to make a note to kind of as the equity gets planned out, we might include that part. So yes, the hope is to have the
because volleyball is canceled, I am available on every weekend. It's super sad. There's depression in the household about it, but I am sadly available.
So what are people's preference? Would you prefer an evening, like a weeknight evening, or Saturday? And if we did a Saturday, it would be dependent on if Greg's available, and it would be really the only date to do that would be the 16th. So that is Martin Luther King weekend, but because no one can really go anywhere, that probably doesn't matter.
Well, I want to respect the staff too. Like, I feel like, also probably people are going to need that long weekend to breathe.
So that meeting isn't going to include that much staff. That really would just be Mike, Jesus helping set up. Mike's the one who signed up for superintendent, so I have no problem making him work on a Saturday.
But Jesus, though.
Jesus can just set up the meeting and then he can go play with his family. I'm good with that.
I'm flexible to either. So, I think the only Saturday I wouldn't be able to do it actually is usually the first, it'll probably be the 9th, whenever the SEF thing is in the morning.
Yeah, so
I can get that date, but I'm available in the evenings as well.
Okay, so should we see if Greg's available either on Thursday, January 14th in the evening, or on Saturday on the 16th in the morning? Does that work for everybody, both of those?
Both of them work for me.
Okay, and my guess it will be about a 2 or 3 hour meeting. Okay.
And it's still 2-day meetings like it was proposed at the beginning, or just one day? It's going to be one or the other, or both of them?
One or the other, not both of them. So yeah, so we will have our meeting on the 7th, the regular meeting. We will have a governance training on hopefully either the 14th or 16th if Greg is available. I mean, if Greg's not, then Mike will come back to us and we can try to find another time. And then we will have the meeting on the 21st that will be more of an equity discussion.
I'm new at this, but don't we usually have, when is the meeting where we talk about our goals for the year? Was that I feel like it's kind of a blur for me what happened in the fall.
So Bridget, there's board development meetings on the 21st of January and the 11th of February. So like I actually have a document open and I'm like moving things between those two. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, one of the things we have to do is we have to talk about my goals, like my mid-year check-in and goals, which might be related to board goals as well. So we kind of have a couple places to play with and put things, but I think that's important that we do that in one of those meetings, January or February.
And Bridget, since I've been on, we don't have an official time and we actually haven't really done that every year that I've been on. So there isn't an official time. So yeah, like what Mike said, right? Sometime in the beginning. Okay.
I think it's really going to be important with Isabel coming on and with all the things that have been going on, like the 3 schools that we're running due to the pandemic, like 4, if you count it.
Well,
You know what I mean? I think there's going to be, I think there's that other work that we were talking about that we want to do. And I think it'd be good to start talking about like the trajectory. So I'm excited about that when we get there.
Yeah. Nancy, did you want to say something?
Oh, I was going to say that with board development, it's a journey, not a destination. So we may be beginning that process and then come to fruition a little bit later on. The reality is that what we need to do in the short term is not what we need to do in the long term. So to think of having a set of goals that you're going to have for this entire next year, I don't believe is realistic. I think we're going to be able to maybe give some frameworks and then continually refining as the situation dynamically plays out. But what we can do is give some structure to what our priorities are.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about priorities because with Isabel on the board now, like her priorities might be slightly different, and my priorities, what I've seen the last 6 months, I might have a shifted focus, and I think I'm excited about that conversation.
Yes. Okay. All right. So when Mike touches base with Greg, then he will get back to us about confirming a date for the extra meeting. And then, yeah, if anybody has specific thoughts that want to make sure that that is included with Greg, or then as we have equity discussion or just other, right, the board development things, I guess kind of board governance, board development, equity in general, if there's things that you want to make sure, don't give Mike a long 20-page laundry list, but share your thoughts with Mike as we're building that. That would be helpful.
Jeff's list. I want to do Jeff's list.
Okay. I think we're ready to adjourn, yes? Okay. I adjourn this meeting at 8:14. Oh, and our future meeting, I kind of said it earlier, but it's January 7th at 7 p.m.
In 2021.
I know. When I was looking at my calendar, I was like, wait, 2021, that's wrong. I'm like, oh, no, it is right.
No, that's
Josh
good.
and Rob, you're still there. Way to stick with us.
Yes.
I wish I had like a cookie to give you.
All right.
Awesome.
We'll get it later.
Hey, welcome Isabel, and welcome back Nancy.
What were you just saying? What were you just saying, Tasha?
No, I just said, no worries. We'll get the cookie later.
Yeah.
My husband makes some of the very best chocolate chip cookies. So maybe for our first in person, I will convince him to make some and I'll bring them. Hopefully I can remember. You remind me, Tasha, because that's probably a few months away still.
All right.
I
Sounds like
heard
a
him say
plan.
challenge accepted.
What, Rob?
I'm sure I heard him say challenge accepted already.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.
All right.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.